bean footage, my friend.
All
Woohoo!
right.
What? Why? Okay,
Oh,
that's mine. I'm
this is
doing that
another
from now on.
episode of the most coastiest coast ever.
Coast to coast.
We have Ferris here hosting
I'm
again.
back, filling in. I'm back. I said I
That's
wasn't
right.
gonna do it, but it would.
We're
Hey,
back and
why don't
forth.
y'all like, subscribe, share, comment, buy our stuff? It's
Yes.
in the link tree below. Okay. Also, if you're a Smuler, you like to sing on Smule, check out the link below as well and fill out the form, and we'll get back to you. And maybe you could be a guest on the show
That's right.
and talk about some singing or humming
It's a
or
let's
drunk
get
joins.
vocal event. So there's going to be some. It's a little. I don't know. I
Would
always
you
want to
would
say
you want
compy. It's not really compy.
it's not really. It's an event. It's an ongoing event. Would you want a drunk Smule join as a
I
guest?
had them
No, I mean on a as a guest. I would. I think that'd be awesome.
and as a guest.
Yeah. We haven't
Come
really
on,
talked
you
about that. It
drunkards!
happens. So those of y'all that are watching or listening, and you don't not real familiar with Smule, okay? It's an online singing app, and most of us have been doing it for several years. It's just a time pat. You sing karaoke in a bar. That's you just get up there and do it. Or you watch other people do it, make a fool of themselves, whatever. It's kind of
Right.
like that. But there are actually some really good vocalists on
Really good
Smule,
singers.
and I
Yeah.
can't believe that most of them aren't like record deal bound. But there are some every once in a while that get on your Smule that just either they're flat out drunk or they don't know how it works and they've got people talking in the background like in a restaurant and they're singing with you, or they're goofy and they just like having fun, and which is
Yeah.
fine. All three of them are fine, but some of them, it's like, did they just really join this at this time in this capacity? It's like, really?
I
I
have this
mean,
one older lady that's a couple of times have joined me on stuff like Straight Out of Cold Beer and songs like that. And she's got a beer in her hand, and you can tell she's like, straight out of cold beer. And then she takes a big chunk of it.
I've never had the pleasure to have somebody. I've had those joins before, but I've never had the pleasure of somebody on video join me. I've done a few.
Well,
I
she
don't do
was
a lot
on
of videos,
video,
and
and
I've
she
never
was
seen that. Yeah,
drunk,
I've
shoving
never.
them things down.
In
She
fact,
was,
I've done so many rare videos. I mean, so few videos that I don't have a lot of people that have joined my joins on video. A lot of them just join out off video. You know, you can do
I
that.
join
But
all
anyway,
video only because I have to. 'Cause whenever I join, you're not
I don't
on
really
there.
do it that much. And then I put a bunch of stuff on TikTok in the last 4 days that are
Yeah,
video.
you've been going hog wild, man.
Well, hey,
Like every time I get on TikTok to check something quick, you're right there.
I
What's the
think I
first
put
thing?
about. I think I'm about at about. Well, I can tell you real quick. I probably. Uh, I said I could tell you. Where is my file at? Oh, there
Let's
it is.
just say that you had like 0 the other day.
I had 0 like Sunday. Put it that way. There it is. Sorry, my why is it doing it anyway? So about, I guess about 14 in 2 days.
Sure seems like more than that.
Well,
Only 14?
okay, 21. My bad.
Okay,
21.
a
21.
little better.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I had three items of content. That was it before that, and 2 of them were coast to coast related. So I mean, the other one's my dog staring at me in a stalking kind of way. So yeah, I'm sorry, Nancy's dog, my wife's dog, but she loves me more. Anyway, so yeah, if you're never done Smule before, you can get on with 0 payment. You don't have to. It's a free app unless you want to be what they call VIP, and even then, it's only like $40 a year. It's not that expensive. If you don't sing well, or if you like to sing, or if you're a shower singer or a closet singer, which most of us are, and I don't mean like we hide our singing. We actually sing in a closet with a microphone and a filter and interface, all that fancy stuff. But we want to sound professional. We'll never be there. So it's our only taste of being a recording artist that we can get. Okay. So
Then you have some idiots that literally build a studio to do Smule.
yes, those are the best because they're like reaching like big time. But the sound is great. I mean, it does sound a lot better because typically when you get on Smule, you just use your earbuds and don't you look. Okay, we're gonna get a little bit of a tutorial for about 30 seconds. If you get on Smule, Apple earbuds, if you have an Apple device, I'm not sure about the Samsung. Nick can tell you about that. But if that's the least amount of thing you have, it's Apple earbuds. Don't do it without earbuds. And please, 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 if you're going to use Super Studio, which I think is like you're limited if you're not a VIP, there's a couple options you have. What I would do, I would use none. There's a none option for your sound effects, basically your reverb, your sound room, stuff like that. Put it on none and just crank it up a little bit on your reverb. That's my best advice. Because if not, you're going to blow out whoever you join. Okay. Yeah. With reverb, and it's going to sound like you're not going to be able to hear your talent. Okay. That's the one thing that bugs me about people joining my stuff is they don't know. And I've talked to you about this. It's hard for me not to get in the comments or just PM them and say, would you mind doing this? Because I don't want, especially if they've got like 5 recordings and they're new, they just got to learn. So
you're one of those. You can PM and complain to them.
Am I one of those?
Yeah.
I've never done that. I said I've wanted to.
Oh, I thought you said that's what you do.
No. I've wanted to, but I've never done it. I mean, because it's like, I don't know. I've had people ask me, how did you get it to sound that? What do you use? What volume do you set on? Things like that. And I respond. And I tell them what works for me.
But it's, why don't you do like a lot of people do when you put in the description of your song, just say what your settings are. Super Studio.
I used to do that, but then I got lazy. I mean, literally now when I do a joint, I might do an emoji and that's it. If it's an actual joint.
Let people do whatever. I don't get a lot of good.
That's what's going to happen anyway.
Really, any joins, and a lot of the ones I do are like kids or drunk.
And what we mean by joins, that you actually record your part. You can pick your parts, you record your part, and then you save it, and it goes out there in the Smule world, and all your followers can join it, whether they're being VIP or not. VIP just means you pay for the app. You get the extra bells and whistles. And then, yeah, so that's what join means. It's just you join after the fact, and it saves it like forever until you delete it if you want to.
It is cool though. They've made it now when you go back, even though the invite's over, you can still join that thing forever.
Oh yeah, I think group songs are the only ones that have a shelf life, right? Like they expire.
I don't know, but they probably need to, because otherwise you'd have 1,000 people on.
Oh yeah, they should. And really, and we're getting into it big time, but there are other app groups, whether it's Facebook or Line app or Discord or a couple other ones, that chat apps that people get on and join groups, and they're there for Smule aspect. The Smule app itself, the messenger part or the chat part, is one-on-one. You can have a group chat, but it's not as good as some of the other apps that allow you to do other things like Line. If you're familiar with Line or Discord, you can post pictures, you can post weird, they call them stickers, things like that. So you can associate with your friends and people you meet or whatever a little better than on Smule. So I recommend having a side app, but it's fun. I enjoy it. Met my wife on it, met all
my podcast friends.
Yep. All of us met on Smule. That y'all, you, one person watching, already know that because it's been repeated a lot.
And don't give up on people on Smule, because when you start joining groups, you're going to have that one guy. Like I had this one short guy that just wasn't too sure about me in the beginning.
That's right. I wasn't. So yeah. So a little history. I hated his guts. I thought he was a pansy whiner. No, I'm kidding. It wasn't that bad. I was unsure of him because Nick was very introverted, and he wasn't sure about chat.
I was new to that type of crap.
Yeah, he was totally new to it, and I get it, because when I first got in the line years ago, it was weird. You had 4 or 5 different people in this group, and you didn't know how to act. I mean, you didn't know these people really. They're from all over the world or the nation or whatever, and you kind of watch your P's and Q's if you're like me. So I know if I was doing that, I know what you were doing, and I didn't understand what you were doing. I was like, for me to be a co-creator of a group and to kind of run that group and that chat, an admin, so to speak, I didn't have time for people with those types of problems. Like in a group setting, you keep those problems out. Like me and you can PM each other and deal with those problems. It shouldn't be in a group setting, but we're getting off base a little bit. But yeah, there's different ways you can communicate outside of Smule that's way better. I would suggest that.
The only thing I can say about techie stuff, I don't know about yours, and unless there's an update, because I haven't done it on my phone in a long time, I got a tablet I do my singing on, but you can't use wireless earbuds. There's a freaking delay.
I was gonna say that. I mean, everybody's got them now. They're great for talking on the phone, watching Netflix, or
Yeah,
listening to music, whatever.
but you
But
can't
there's a
sing
delay
them.
and it's so bad. So yeah, I don't use that either. And of course, a lot of people that watch this already got to know all this, but those are for those people that have never had
Okay.
any idea about Smule.
Right
There's
on.
another one. There's another one, and we're not really going to promote it. I know my wife's tried it. Nick, you said you tried it, but Star Maker is very similar to it, but it's got its pros and cons, just like Smule does. You have your Star Maker side, and you've got your Smule side of people that have their preference. So at least there's options.
Yeah.
But anyway, how was your day?
Hanging sheetrock. Heavy fire rated sheetrock.
Nice.
I'm sick
Sounds
of
like
it.
fun.
Dude,
It's been a while.
I've been hanging sheetrock for weeks now, months. I'm done. I'm just so done.
It's been a long time since I hung any sheetrock, my friend. Last time I did it was two ceilings. I didn't do the walls; they were already done. So I didn't like that one bit. We didn't have all the fancy stilts and all that. We had to move.
Stilts.
We had to move A-frame ladders around and things.
We
So
rented a sheetrock lift to do the ceilings because it's heavy sheetrock. The fire rated's heavy. Way too much lift, dude. That thing was heavy to put together. I'm like, that's a little bit much. It's just sheetrock. It ain't concrete slabs. Good lord.
I've been having speaking of work, I've been having some issue. And for those of you who don't know, I'm in Louisiana, mid. I'm so used to saying Northwest because of the Shreveport area, but I'm not there anymore. I'm more central Louisiana, closer to the Texas line. And we have a lot around here. It's mostly small towns, but we have a lot of larger towns that have hardware stores and your box stores, Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever. I have those options. I can where I go to work an hour and a half away. I can look at different stores, try to find one item, right? This is a specific electrical item, okay? And most stores have up to a certain diameter. Well, I'm trying to find it. I think it's MPT metal 3-inch conduit threaded on both ends. They usually come in 10-foot sections. And some places can order them, but they're all saying like 3 to 6 weeks delivery. And then around here, there's a lot of electrical outlet stores, but they're all wholesale, and you have to have a contract with them. Like you have to be a contractor.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So I'm having a hard time finding this one item. And
Is it for you said it was for work?
Yeah, so we're using. I'm not an electrician or anything, but we're using the pipe as a camera pole. There's already one existing that's like 8 foot. I think they went 3 foot, so it's like 6 foot or so, 6-7 feet out of the ground. At the top of it's got male threaded, and they can weld to it if we have to, but they prefer to have the coupling and the other end threaded. They just screw it on and be done with it, and then cut it off at like 3 feet. So the total will be 10
one.
3-inch, man. Yeah.
Wow.
The biggest most people have is 2. That's like a common stock item. What I'm finding out.
3 inches, pretty decent.
It's big. So it's like that extra large size fence post. That's what it kind of looks like. Like you get the 2.5 or 2-inch fence post standard, whatever it is.
Putting this thing
right now, it's like 7 feet, from ground level. So it's already got a camera on the very top.
You're
and there's about that much. Yeah, they're trying to put 2 more cameras on the same pole. So they want about 3 feet above that. So I'll buy a 10-foot. I'm gonna buy a 10-foot piece, cut off 3 feet, and just hang on to the rest of the other 7 feet until we need it again. Basically. Anyway, so it's that's a lot of my job though. A lot of my job is finding seems to be rare parts that aren't just readily available. So I'll probably step foot in 40 different stores last year alone, just for the various things.
Here at like one of the electrical companies, but that's here.
I don't want to pay the shipping on that. What are you going to do? Put it. I mean, maybe there's an Uber delivery that can do that. Stick it outside of the car or something.
I wonder. Oh, I wonder. 3-inch seems like a lot just to hold a camera up.
It's overkill. It's something they had on hand, I'll bet. And they just dug a hole, put some Satcrete in there, and stuck it in the ground. and it just happened to have a threaded part at the top, but it's all right. I'll figure it out. I'll find it. I've got about 3 weeks before the cameras come in, so I've got time to find it.
Wow.
Yeah, they're about $200.
So Amazon has a 10-foot piece, 3-inch steel conduit, $190.
Yeah.
Have it January 30th or February 1st.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I know what I'm doing tomorrow at work.
I know what I'm doing
So
tomorrow at
so
work.
okay. So here's another thing. So when I order stuff on Amazon for my job, okay, and I probably spend annually, I don't know, 12, 13,000 a year on just various things for the shop and the yard, whatever. But I've always had that any item sent to a home address, because if we send it to the facility's incoming dock, like they call it the storeroom, if we send it there, it'll get lost. We won't have it for like 4 weeks. We'll have to go find it.
What?
And it seems like the bigger the item, the worse it is. It'll get lost.
It seems like it should
Seriously.
be less likely to get lost the bigger
No,
it is.
because they'll stick it in a bullpen outside. Like we order a lot of stuff. We have a huge facility that does various things. And so if it's a big part, like just pick your poison, industrial part, it'll sit on a pallet out there and it could get lost. Like it's bad. They may have gotten better now, but we haven't done that for like 3 years. It's always gone to somebody's house.
So
right.
weird.
So I've been sending everything to my admin's house, because where I live, I don't have really a way to contain that item when they deliver it. I don't want it to walk off, and she does. She's got a place that you can set it and nobody can see it from the road, blah, blah, blah. So just try to be smart about it. So can you imagine sending a 10-foot piece of 3-inch pipe at her house? I mean, we're talking stuff like industrial strength cleaner or CV parts, or, little stuff. The biggest thing we bought was we just redid all of our desks, furniture and stuff in the office. And those things come together. You have to assemble it. So she's used to that. They were pretty heavy, but she got it loaded and whatever. But that's like the biggest thing I've sent to her house. But to have this pipe just show up wrapped in cellophane and bubble wrap. I don't know.
Do it just for the laugh.
I should. I think now you found it on Amazon. I didn't think they'd have it actually on Amazon. I really didn't. I thought it'd be more of
everything.
I always forget that because I'm not a buyer. I don't shop.
Some of these things ain't always like a normal Amazon item. There's something where they got the item and it says click to see who's got it. It says buying options, and then it'll look like third-party people, but it gives you it.
So even if Amazon's out of the item, they carry it digitally on their inventory. You can still buy it straight from that producer, that vendor or whatever. Okay. See, I don't get on there much. I mean, I don't. I get on there for Christmas. That's pretty much it. And I don't have to do that now. My wife handles all that.
Lazy son of a bitch.
She's amazing. She does all that. I don't, but she doesn't even know she's doing it because she loves Christmas. Like that is her thing. So she's more than happy to do anything around Christmas time that has to do with Christmas.
That's nice.
Especially buying gifts. But she's a smart buyer. She really is. I would be horrible at it. And what she could spend $500, $1,000 a year on just various Christmas stuff, gifts, whatever, I'd probably double that, because I don't know. I find the item. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. But I don't know that I could go buy that somewhere else cheaper. I do, but I don't. It's time,
Knucklehead.
Can't help it, man. Why is this thing doing that? It's weird.
You're weird,
man.
I'm gonna skip that, dude. When we come back, we're gonna do a commercial break.
We're gonna do a commercial.
I want to throw something at you because I know that this is a funny thing I get on with you, and I sent you at least 1 or 2 more TikToks on it, and you haven't said nothing.
Man, I've seen it.
Is.
All right, let's sell some stuff.
All right, we'll be right back.
Hey, yo, welcome. What's going on, y'all?
I'm Nick.
And I'm Brandon.
And we have just kicked off season 4 of our podcast, Coast to Coast.
That's right. And this season, we'd like to invite those of you that are on Smule, the online karaoke app, to join us for a little fun, some good old wholesome banter, and a whole lot of music and conversation.
Throughout the season, as a Smule guest, you will also be entered to win recognition in several podcast and Smule-related categories.
Hell yeah. Some of these categories are going to be most viewed episode, funniest guest, and best vocal cover overall, just to name a few.
That's right. All you got to do is click the link below, fill out the form, hit submit, and someone will reach out to schedule a date that's best for you.
And we can't wait to have you on the show. So come on now, click that link below, fill out the form, hit submit, and let's get vocal. Dude, this is going to be fun.
So,
but anyway, I don't shop, man. Anyway, I just want to close that out. I don't shop very much.
Yeah.
What you got?
You really want something?
No.
What do you mean no?
I don't really buy for myself, man. I really don't. Okay. I have a hard time for me to actually. It's hard for me to actually buy myself clothes.
Oh, I know.
I mean, I go in to get some, maybe look at some sales and, do something. It's just hard to spend $30 on a pair of Levi's.
I always had a hard time buying sneakers. I go to the shoe store, my shoes are shot. Like I need sneakers or whatever shoes. And I'll pick up, I go, I like these, and they'll go $60. I don't need them.
Well, 60s actually. I don't mind spending 80 because nowadays good tennis shoes. Like you can get like New Balance, not a sponsor, but I like New Balance. I haven't bought a pair in a while because my tennis shoes don't tear up.
You look like a damn New Balance guy.
Yeah, they start out to me in the early 2000s, I guess it was like grandpa shoes, but then everybody started buying them, and I bought a pair. I'm like, man, these things are great, and they were set up for budgets. Like you could get a new pair of New Balance shoes for $40. Right. And they were the same brand as somebody that wanted to spend 150 and look really, really cool, and they're the same brand. It was a great idea. Whereas you got these other name brand companies like Nike and Adidas that are all $150. And some people can't afford that. And they end up buying what we called buddies. If they were cheap shoes, like Walmart shoes or whatever, right off the shelf, they weren't name brand. But I've gotten to where I got a pair of Asics that I love because they're cross trainers.
Asics?
And Asics, yeah.
That's what I wear.
And they're just so, man. And they're like $80. I want that much. And I love them. I can run in them. I can work out in them. I can walk in them. I can go around the house with them. And I take care of them. I've had them for 2 years. They look brand new.
No.
Because I mainly wear my boots.
I'm going through them damn things.
Well, you probably use them doing what you do every day.
I do, and I'm flat-footed and everything else. They don't last.
Ever
since I got with Linda, she every time I turn around, Amazon box, oh, new shoes. I'm like, I'm not used to having decent shoes.
Well, that's why you're going through them. You're not self-conscious about taking care of them. It's like, oh, I stepped on a nail. I don't care. Ow. Oh, I got paint on it. I don't care. I got a new pair coming next week. I know I do.
I'm like that with everything, dude. I am very hard on clothes. I am ridiculous.
See, so if you have a hard time buying clothes, I can't imagine being you because you have to do it more often than me.
I'm like, but I don't. So I'm like, I got one pair of jeans.
See, I have not bought a pair of jeans in 2 years.
But you probably don't do anything, so your jeans probably last.
I don't. I'm lazy as hell. I'm desk, bound all the time.
When I was really doing lots of tile, dude, I had jeans that could stand up in a corner because for all the things that shit, I'm just wiping my hands off of my pants.
Wow.
I try and I'll be doing good, but at some point, because I'm just trying to get the job done, it's like I got nothing. And I go like this, I'm like, oh, game over. It's just so quick to just do that.
My job doesn't require manual labor. I do a lot of manual labor at the house, but I have certain clothes I wear for that.
Yeah,
like work jeans.
Linda's trying to do with me, but the problem is I'll have 3 or 4 pair of work clothes, but then they're out and they're not clean yet, and I can't go to work naked, so then I have to put a decent pair on.
and you'll catch a charge.
And she's like, I've never in my, she'll look at me. I'll come out ready to work, ready to go to work. And I'll have just like my decent jeans she had just got me. She'll be like, no. I'm like, it'll be fine. I'm not getting anything on them.
And they know that too. They know what they bought. They know it's new, what's old. They know. I mean,
she's like, I cannot believe.
Are you really wearing your new jeans to work?
Yeah.
You just got those 3 months ago. I know it. It's fine.
Well, Lynn gets livid with me sometimes. She's like, you are.
She has a right though, because you go through clothes like crazy. She knows what's going to happen. Like when I did landscaping for a living, right? This was back in the mid 2000s, and I literally had to wash my clothes separate from everybody else's, only because I didn't get any chemicals on them normally. When you do landscape in Louisiana in the summertime, you reek when you get home. It's bad. Plus the green stains and the oily stains from the weed eaters and edgers and mowers, and it's bad. But I had a series of.
Well, that's what the OxyClean is for.
And I mean, it came out pretty clean. I had some jeans that the grass stains would not come out.
Really?
Those were forever like work jeans.
I've had some get like that, or that green is there.
It is. It's something which we could paint with that green. Just mulch it up really, really tight. Make a paint out of it. It would never come off. It would never come off.
It's amazing to me that stuff gets in there and can't come out.
It does. It does.
So, remember I sent you the TikTok and it kind of drove you nuts about the flat Earth, the guy?
Yeah. Yeah.
I've sent you one or two since then. But
I saw one. The reason I won't say that because the last time I spoke to that video, and I didn't know exactly what I was talking about, right? And I try not to be hypocritical, but in that situation, after the fact, I was like, I shouldn't have commented at all because I don't understand everything about physics, and it was gravity related, right?
Yeah.
It just didn't seem. I had this one. I don't know something. I had this gut feel. This something like this tax stuff. I won't get into it. I've told you this. This new tax bill with the flat tax. There's something that sits with me wrong with both of those. With what that guy was saying about how gravity doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
With the perpetual motion of the earth. I guess that's what you call it. I don't even know the terms, but if the earth is spinning, then why would the water be stuck to the earth? But when you put water on a ball and it's wet, you spin it and it all flies off. Okay. I don't know why. All I know, there is an answer scientifically. And the gut feel was that he's not grasping what it's all about. Okay. And I don't know how to explain to him, you're wrong. Here's why. Somebody else could. So that other video you sent was kind of the same. Other two was kind of the same thing. No, they're not grasping this. Is flat earth a possibility? Sure.
I'm telling you, the last one or two I sent you, it made my brain think. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but it did make my brain think.
Who cares really if the world is a globe or flat? They're not going to let us know. The perpetual they.
But there's an ice wall, and they think there's something on the other side.
Have you seen Game of Thrones? Do you really want to know what's on the other side of that ice wall? I mean, seriously.
Kind of.
I think we just leave it alone. Okay.
You don't think it seriously though? You don't think it's odd that like Antarctica and stuff they won't let us there?
No, because I don't want to go there. That's too cold.
It doesn't matter if you don't want to go there. It's the point that if you did, they're like, no, you're not allowed.
Well, do you want to go to the moon?
I don't know, but if
we're not allowed there anymore, we're not allowed there anymore. Apparently, we hadn't gone back.
I don't even know if that's real, dude. I sent you that TikTok where the guy
is
trying to straighten the flag.
Okay,
out.
so I watched that one. Okay, and we have to describe that for people. Maybe you can insert it in the edit. But so it's I can't remember the names. It's Buzz Aldrin, Armstrong, and the other
Apollo
guy.
14.
You could never remember the other guy's name. But they're putting this flag up, iconic video, and it looks like the flag is waving, like there's a breeze, right? And that doesn't make sense being in a vacuum.
It ain't just that though.
I know. I'm dealing with that right first. Okay. And if let's say it was in a studio, like a lot of people believe, and that's where the breeze is coming from. These people that were a part of NASA in the 60s were very intelligent people. Maybe there was a a script and an agenda to fake it because we couldn't actually go to the moon, but we wanted our competition like Russia and China, whatever, to think we did so that we were ahead of the space race. But my question is two things. One, they're too intelligent not to think, oh, look, the flag is blowing. Let's stop, take 2, take 5, whatever it's going to take, and make sure that sucker stays still because we're in a vacuum. Okay. I just don't see that being an oversight. 2, Russia supposedly did go to space with people in the 60s. So the biggest thing is that they're saying that people believe that we didn't have the technology in the 60s. You can't say we didn't have technology and then turn around in the 40s, believe that aliens crashed and we stole it from them. That's contradictive. You know what I'm saying?
It's true.
So if we never went to space in the 60s, was that Apollo 14? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. If they didn't go to space and they didn't go to the moon and they didn't do all this on the moon surface, it was all in a studio, then that means Russia did actually win the space race because they put people in.
If they were really, we don't know that they really did either, though.
I don't either. I don't know.
But
I'm not.
If you weren't focusing enough, it wasn't just the flag was doing this a little bit. But if you look at it, when the guy comes out with it and he's holding the pole, the flag is mashed down like if you were storing it, and he was sitting there picking it up and he was stretching it to straighten it out. Like it was a stiff
frozen.
flag made to stick straight out.
Maybe it was frozen. I mean, it's pretty cold in the vacuum of space. I don't know what the temperature is, but it's like, I'm pretty sure it's below freezing.
The other problem is the background is flat black. There's no way there ain't going to be stars, damn it.
I know what happened. They had the flag folded up in the shuttle, in the pod, whatever it's called, and it fell in the toilet and it got wet. And they took it out, straightened it, put it on the pole, and it was frozen. And he was, I mean, there's got to be a logical explanation for all that. Now, let me back up. The question is, do I believe whether or not it was a hoax or not? Do I believe, at least, is it a possibility? Absolutely. Because now you've got astronauts coming out and saying that it's a hoax. Not just one. If it was one, we could say, oh, he's senile. He's 80, 90 years old, and he's, whatever. But it's more than one. It's people who are working at command station saying the same thing. It's so there's something to it. But do we believe that Elon Musk is a fraud when it comes to SpaceX? That it's not possible to go outside? And are these videos and pictures we get back from these shuttles and space stations, are they all truly just a fisheye view and the world is not actually round? It's not actually a globe. Because SpaceX is, I think, sent back, and satellites that he's sent up are showing the planet to be a globe. There's a lot of contradictory beliefs that people are kind of dishing out. I don't know.
It's just like when I was bringing up the one episode about the Webb Hubble, the Webb scope, the one that like shoots super far, apparently, the new one they've been putting images.
That you just couldn't wrap your brain around that it could do that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not going to go this deep. I'm just going to make it real simple. People can come to you, you're a Christian, and they can say, I don't want to hear it. There's no way you can believe that. It's just a book. But yet they're believing science that they don't have any proof of. It's
well, they have proof based on their SOPs of retrieving that proof. Like you shoot a light.
I'm not talking to scientists. I'm talking about just normal, everyday people that don't want to believe one thing, but they're believing anything a science or something they read in a book that the scientists wrote back in the 40s. You don't know that that's true. You're just assuming.
Well, look, there's maps and firsthand accounts, secondhand accounts, to the fact that the world is flat. Way back when. I mean, the
maps. That's what I
8th, 9th, 10th century.
Because there was maps of it.
Yeah, and
I think that was like before 50. What was it? 58.
Encyclopedia America.
I think it was 58. Before that, it showed flat and it showed all the stuff. He said, and then notice all of a sudden, it's like stamped governmental and it's all changed.
What? So what would be the reason for? Because let me back up. I've heard some theories that beyond the ice wall there's more resources. So that would be the reason why we're being contained. They're trying to suppress us or as a humanity or whatever. I guess I just can't wrap my brain around the reason. Give me the end game. What's the reason why they don't want us outside of the dome?
I'm sure
What's
there's
out? I mean,
many different
is the secret to
reasons.
life out there? Is that heaven out there? Is that life so good, or is it so terrible that we're being protected? Is there monsters out there that could get in and kill us all?
Well,
I don't.
think about
I know it sounds weird and funny,
where does
but
the flat Earth start? The first place
at the edge.
no, the first place flat Earth is ever mentioned. Obviously, it doesn't say flat Earth though.
I don't know when it's meant. I mean, it's going to be probably some from a country that was ocean going. Okay,
It's the
and
Bible when it talks about the firmament, when God first makes everything.
well,
In the most Bibles, it actually shows the firmament. It shows just like the maps and stuff the guy's talking about. It shows a flat. It shows a dome. It says water here. This is the heavens flat, and then it looks like a chunk of earth just floating. You know what I'm saying? Like
okay. Well,
that's how it's drawn.
let's break this down. This is what this episode's about now. Let's break this down.
Oh boy, just
Flat. Let's say we have a flat Earth. Okay, I already asked a couple of questions. So we'll go back. What would be the end game? Why? Why are we being contained? The second question: who put the dome up? Who installed that? Where's the technology? If this has been going on for centuries, that has been there as early as, oh man, I'm trying to remember what the date was. I'm not even gonna say because I can't remember, but it's been hundreds of years since it's been recognized. Those maps were maps from possibly Spanish explorers and things like that, like the 14th, 13th century, something like that. So hundreds of years it's been there. Who put it up? It was discovered by man, by humans, right? So who put it up and when and why?
Or is it a dome like they're saying, or is it the dome that the Bible shows where it's actually water above us? And then there's clouds, and then there's
So we're in a fishbowl
sort of.
based on the Bible.
I could pull the picture up eventually, but yeah, kind of it's upside down.
I don't know.
Part of the reason
need
it's
more
hard to
proof.
grasp is when
I need
you
more
have been
proof.
taught and you believe this your whole life from day one.
Okay, here's the third question. And this is more pro flat Earth, I guess. Early on, people believed there was an edge to the Earth. You could fall off of it. You know what I mean? Sailors would come back and say, "Don't go to the edge of the Earth; you'll fall off." We've seen
That's
it.
not true.
Well, if they've found a dome at certain point beyond, like the ice wall, or whatever, and some of these same people or people around the same time found a, let's say, a massive waterfall that looked like the edge of the Earth. There's nothing beyond it. In their visual perception of what they understood, it was the edge of the Earth. I mean, Niagara Falls is pretty wide and deep. You know what I mean? I mean, it looks like it's the edge of the Earth, but it's not. You can see the bottom, you can see across the other side. So you can't really say that these same explorers that documented that there's a dome and we're inside of a firmament and
They
it's
were just
flat
at
Earth.
falls.
Maybe, but where's that at? Because if you go all around if it is a circle we live in and it's flat and we're surrounded by an ice wall, all you're going to see is ice. You're going to run into ice no matter where you go, in all directions. You're not going to see the edge of an Earth. So what did they see? Did they climb the wall and on the other side it just drops off and it's nothing? If that's the case, I'm good where I'm at. I don't need to go see the edge of the Earth. That's be pretty scary. I mean, what do you just look into a void? I do that when my wife's mad at me and I look at her in the eyes. It's like, oh no, okay, I'm gonna do right. You know what I'm saying though? It's like you can't.
I know. The whole thing is just wacky.
That's
like
where I'm at.
Once you've grown, like you were born, you're raised, you're taught, you see globes, you're taught round, you're all your life. And after 40 some 50 years, whatever, and all of a sudden says no, it's been flat all the time. It's like, what?
What if the
But I
Earth is
gotta
flat?
say, some of the things I see, and granted, of course, I'm very low in IQ.
Me too.
But some of the stuff it just makes sense. I'm not saying it's right, but it makes damn sense.
I
to
think
me.
what you're feeling is a possibility in the gut that some of it could be true.
Yeah.
You're not willing to discount all of it, and neither am I. I mean,
Well,
let's say the Earth is flat. What's to say that scientists and artists, scholars, whatever, molders, whatever was involved, decided that it'd be easier to explain the continents and the oceans and what's been discovered if it was put on a globe, right?
that's what the one
Stretched it
guy was
out.
talking about, stretching it out.
Yep. I mean, it could.
And think
That's
about it.
possible.
Because when you fly, if you do keep flying, technically they say you'll go around,
Mm-hmm.
right? But if it's flat, and if I'm not mistaken, one of the TikToks I sent you was a guy explaining that of why, if you're going, it goes around if it's flat. I don't know if you watched the whole thing or not.
No, I did not. I didn't think I even saw that one.
You might have missed it.
But okay, there have been people that have circumvented the globe in a plane. They've gone around the entire globe based on, compasses and altitude. And I mean,
Right,
were they
that's what I'm
lying?
saying. And it's been explained how that works.
I don't know. I'm not. It's gonna be a lot. Like I admit that my 41 years of indoctrination on how it's a globe and not flat Earth definitely is way stronger than the possibility that it's a flat Earth.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's
All I'm saying is,
fine.
if you can believe that there's a telescope that's seeing 50 light years away and it's a perfect image, and they can say there's water there and it's got 10% oxygen in it.
Do you believe that? Do
something
you
else
believe
in
that scientists has mastered fission? They've done that.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
have they
haven't seen
dealt
it.
with nuclear fission, nuclear fusion, and all that? I mean,
They say though.
that's the opposite direction. That's going from a great distance to a great,
Right.
what's the word I'm looking for? A much, 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 much smaller achievement, but it's huge, right? It's the other way. So, and you got microscopes that can see so small, down to DNA. Maybe not microscopes, but you can get the DNA of a human being or anything.
No, but with that, like I can personally look in at microscope and I can actually see.
That's the difference. If Nick Fire was able to go to this facility and look in this telescope with his own eye and see the detail.
But what I can't prove,
Man on the street.
just like I can't prove how far away that damn germ is to be able to see it at that microscope level, but there's a little bit more to that. I don't know that what I'm looking at is 10 light years from me. If I tell you that piece of sheetrock is 8 foot long, I can walk over to it and say, see, 8 foot. But if you tell me that galaxy is 5 light years away, there's no way to prove that. I have to guess. We just have to assume that your calculations worked out right.
Okay, so
No way to prove
you're a God believing and fearing person,
Yes.
right? So you can't touch God, you can't see him, you can't, I can't either. But I'm the same way.
That makes much more sense because he's
so your belief in spiritual aspect is
far stronger.
Common, it's accepted. What your scientific aspect or belief rather is up in the air because you can't see it yourself. I get that because you're putting faith in man and not
exactly.
I get it, but there'd be a lot of people say that's contradictory within yourself.
But that's where my problem comes in. That's part of it. It ain't just that, but there's a part of it that makes me, how to explain it, because they downright, most scientists, there's a lot going the other direction now, but most of them, because the way they believe, they say the whole God thing is no, there was no God making the earth. They downright put it down, but they want me to believe what they have. So when they tell me I'm being contradictory, that's because they're being contradictory. They can't seem to see that it's both ways. It's just negated. I could go deep. That's a whole rabbit hole.
I know. It is. Tell us what y'all think. Tell us is it flat? Is it round? Is it a globe? Is it a cylinder? Maybe we did like this big deep chasm.
Who knows?
And we don't know. I honestly think it would be cool if there were these huge contained pools of water and land masses like ours, and then you go a certain distance and over ice and drop off into another one. It's a whole different world. And then another one and another one. Like these foot puddles that you just that are have there's continents and all different designs and all different layouts and all that, different species of humans or different whatever. I think it'd be awesome. I really do. I'm not afraid of that. But I think at this point, I would rather just believe that those other beings are outside of our atmosphere. That seems to make more sense to me based on what we found over the years, what I believe to have that people have found. Ancient Egypt is just littered with the real possibility of extraterrestrial existence. Okay, influence. I would believe that there's proof there if you know what you're looking at. You know, there's that there's proof of influence outside of that civilization. There's no way that the Egyptians had that much technology. Not just the Egyptians, other civilizations like the Mayans, Aztecs, things like that. They were influenced outside. They had to have been. I'm not saying that they couldn't have been smart and figured it out themselves, but there were building blocks that had to have been taught, you know, basic lessons of geometry and physics and all these things to allow that civilization to thrive the way they did as fast as they did.
Well, I
You
don't know
can't tell me that.
if I seen it because you sent it to me or I sent it to you or if I just seen it, but did you see the thing about where they said that nuclear power was a long time ago? They found proof of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But it was like by water and all that. It was way
Yep.
cleaner.
Yep. I mean,
That
the
was
Egyptians
interesting.
had ways to, it was really simple, but they had ways to provide, and it's a matter of angles and things like that, which any fifth grader could figure out. We've seen it, you know, but they were coached, they were taught that they created light tunnels inside these pyramids. They created, you know, ways for their workers, the laborers, to build these things and survive, you know, in big, you know, in depths that nowadays you could suffocate. Or I mean, there's just a lot of things that go into building a structure like that that civilization did not come up with on their own, although they were a pretty old civilization. You know,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's I
Okay.
don't
One more question. I don't know if you've seen this lately. You notice how they're always talking about comets that are coming by or asteroids that are going to swing by.
Mhm.
And there's some they're talking about now that's massive, but it's like years away before it gets here.
Yep.
And there was one there's actually there might have been two, but there's one just recent they talked about that it's coming and it hasn't been seen in like millennials. It's been like hundreds of years.
It's a grandpa. It's a great grandpa.
How do they know it hasn't been seen since then? If there's nobody that's seen it, there's nobody to record something.
I think I don't know here. Just this is my dumb guess, but I think that scientists, astronomers, and all that believe that we're on a cycle. You know that these things have already passed by because maybe it's bouncing around the universe, has an edge. Look, our brains cannot fathom when in the Bible, I don't know what it says exactly, but basically there's in a cubic foot 500 million grains of sand. And a lot of places in the Bible it says that God is going to XYZ more than there are more planets in the universe than there are grains of sand on the earth. That's 500 million just in one cubic foot. That's not even a number we can understand. You give me a mathematician that can understand that number of how many grains of sand there are on the planet, and I'll tell you, you're lying. This is not possible.
What about how
Okay.
remember when you're growing up and you're told that the universe is infinity, it just goes on forever?
Yes.
How do they know that?
They don't. They don't think that if we're on a loop, if things in space passing the Earth are on a loop. A billion years ago, Comet Alfred flew by the Earth, and now it's coming back in 10 years. How do we know that?
So if
Did
we're
it
on a
drop
loop
off?
and we're actually all these galaxies contained, what's on the outside of that?
Exactly. See, that's where you start to just change your mind, changes the subject, and you don't really.
You can't even go there.
When you get to that point, that's what I'm saying. We can't comprehend this stuff. I watched a TikTok, and it was there's a lady who was responding, I guess a stitch is what you call it, was responding to a guy that he was Christian, okay, and he said something, and she was coming up with questions on wondering, wanting to know why all these questions, a bunch of them, why God is revered, but all this death and destruction and pain and suffering exists, right? And I've said this last time, I'm not one to comment unless I understand everything, and I will never understand the answers to those questions ever. But the one thing that popped in my brain was, why do we not have free agency? One of the things she said was, why are we made to not know what's going on? Why can't God just tell us the plan so we can obey him? That's not the point.
No.
That's not the point. And that's a Christian outlook, okay? What we just said. You agree with me. But even further than that, I wanted to say we can't fathom what the whole plan really is. We can't fathom that. We do not need to be asking the unknown. No, I said to myself this way. We have no right asking what we'll never know. Never know.
What I can say,
you can try,
is people on this earth will never be satisfied.
Mm-mm.
So if something was,
it's human nature not to be satisfied.
So it's like, okay, if somebody says, why doesn't this person just do this for everybody? But as soon as that person does, then they'll go, well, don't do it for that one. Because that one, then now you're going, why is he doing it for everybody? Because they don't deserve it. It's always something. There's beans, bullets, and band-aids.
Beans, bullets, and band-aids. That's it.
In the end, you could say something like, why is God letting mass destruction happen and blah, blah, blah. Why is the human race letting it happen? We have free will and our own power. We cannot do that.
To me, it's a domino effect because of human nature. I could go really deep with this, but let's say a little boy is born in 1978. Okay. This little boy grows up to learn certain aspects and maybe even indoctrinations from his parents, his school people, the school teachers, the principals, the collegiate, all the way up. They learn these things that eventually leads to a decision to join the government. And then within the government, they climb the ranks and become a political figure, and they're able to have power, and they're able to have, so that upbringing, all those decisions from 78 to the time that they're 50 or 40 probably rather, because somebody born that late would be in their 40s. These decisions, this free agency allowance has allowed this human being to make the decisions that they have. And then all of a sudden they have this power and they create conflict in another country. And all of a sudden those people suffer, and you have this mass destruction, this pain and suffering across this other country. Or, you know what I'm saying? I'm being very layman's here, but, and that happens multiplied by every human being that walks the earth. And God sees it all, right? I mean, I believe anyway, and we can't fathom that. We can't fathom the intellectual comprehension that God is capable of. I don't like to. I'm like, look, that's your job. Okay. I'm just going to try to focus on my decision making. It sucks. It sucks to see all that while we're alive. And you can't, to me, you can't dwell on, like we were having a conversation last night, me, you, and Mary. And I made a comment that I know I probably sound like an asshole about the way I feel about beggars and homeless people and all that. Now, for the record, for people watching, I have a charitable heart. I will give. I will, help. But I lean back on sometimes enough's enough. Sometimes you have to pull the trigger on yourself and say stop. Stop giving, because you'll receive blessings. You'll receive karma, good karma, however you want to believe it, whether you're a Christian or not. It's good to help other people, but at the same time, you have to take care of your own first and then help. And I firmly believe in that. And there are some people that give their last dollar that is supposed to help their family to a stranger. And that's great. That is Christ-like. But at the same time, you have to make that decision for yourself. Will I go to hell because I didn't give my last dollar to somebody in need? Maybe. That's my choice. I make that choice, and that choice causes ripple effects
Yeah.
to other people. But at the end of the day, whether there's nothing out there or there is something to look forward to when we die, I have to pay for that. I have to answer for that. That's my choice. Anyway.
I agree. The part you said about that I did agree on is when you're helping somebody and you notice after time goes by, they're now leeching. They're not even trying to help themselves. They're just, as long as you'll keep giving, they'll just sit there and not even bother trying.
Yep.
Now you're hurting that person because you're not letting them grow.
Yep. We always get in these deep conversations.
What's wrong with you?
I'm just not as funny as Brandon is, I guess. That's just the way it is. That's fine.
No, we could get funny if we got it going. It's just I like to get you up. Ferris,
That's what you do.
The flat Earth thing.
That's what you do. Back to that. Science is science. Correct science is there to evolve. It's supposed to evolve. I said it before. Science by committee is dumb. It's contradictory.
Yeah.
It is not what science is supposed to be.
When I'm not against science, there's a lot of science I believe. I just think some of it is geared towards trying to get people not to believe other things and just focus and keep you looking in one direction.
What I mean. That's what I mean by a committee. You've got there's been a standard in a scientific law, I guess it's called, whatever. That I don't know, gravity works a certain way. Okay. Until something comes to light where it allows something to be anti-gravitational, like some technology where it kind of just says, to hell with you, gravity, we're going to fly. Then, until then, gravity is the same, but it will evolve at that point. Then we have to look at gravity differently, because now you got all these different physical properties that will change how we look. Gravity will always stay gravity. Don't get me wrong.
Gravity don't make sense to me though.
But because there's new developments on anti-gravity, we may look at gravity differently on how it works and what it does and where it even comes from. I mean,
here's what I think. I like that one guy can't grasp that gravity is able to, like it's a living thing, calculate, okay, I need this much energy to hold this, but only this much for this. To me, gravity is gravity. And if it's using all this pressure to be able to hold all this weight, that same pressure, you're standing right next to that thing. Or you're fishing in a fishing boat. How are you not getting crushed? Now, if it was flipped and it ain't really a gravity thing, what it is everybody and everything's got some bit of metal or mineral in you. And maybe how much is in you has to do with the magnetic field where the earth pulls, right?
That's how I choose
different
to look
strengths
at it.
Of magnets.
Yeah, that's how I choose to understand it. The way I understand it is the core of the earth made up of whatever materials is this huge magnet. I mean, massive. I mean, think big, the biggest thing you think of on the planet, and then multiply it by 1,000. That's how big it is. Excuse me. And that's the magnet. I mean, you've seen a magnet pull something to it, a metal piece, an object. And like you said, we're the objects. You know, everything on the planet is the objects. But it's not a magnet that, see, I'm going off the deep end because I don't know this stuff. When I start looking off, I'm like, I don't really know what I'm talking about.
Well, you're trying
I need to do more research.
Come up with your own little ideas.
I mean, no, that's the way I choose to look at it. I mean, with the Earth spinning, I don't imagine the Earth spinning like some top, and you've got little water droplets on top of the top, and all that stuff's flying off because of centrifugal motion, right, or centrifugal force, right? It's going to. That's Murphy's Law. I mean,
it's weird.
That's what's so cool about science, though. Science and religion. I think they're both kind of the same because they're ever evolving. We are ever finding out that this little excerpt in the Bible actually means this, or this little science theory that is now practical will change again in 20 years because, oh my God, we forgot, we overlooked this. Carbon dating. I don't believe carbon dating is exact. No, as they say it is.
It's actually been proven that it's off.
Right. And there are a lot of mainstream scientists that will dispute that. Oh no, it's scientifically proven. We can do it this way. No, and there's other scientists like, no, here's why. So eventually the SOP, standard operating procedure, to get to a scientific conclusion based on a theory will always stay the same. You have a problem, you collect the data. I'm saying this, I don't remember high school, okay? But you test it out. When it doesn't work, you go back to the problem. You do it differently. You don't create an outcome for yourself and try to test it to get that outcome. You test it until the outcome is the outcome.
Right.
And then you're done. That's the end result. There are a lot of I believe there's a lot of scientists that do just that. They try to come up with their own outcome.
Going insanity right now.
You want to take a nap?
It's insane, dude.
Hey, you could take a nap for 5 minutes because we're done in like 6. And I bet we get more viewers because there are people on TikTok that just sleep and get views. I don't understand that.
Oh man, I know, I've seen that. It's so weird.
Who wants to watch Nick sleep?
One more quick. The one thing that really gets me, I'm always talking about, is that damn distance thing across the space. Okay. Think about after what you just said a little bit ago about how there's as many planets as grains of sand. Right?
Mm-hmm.
If there's that many planets and stars and whatnot, how are you able to get a beam straight enough? There's going to be something in the way.
That's true. But
so how do you know that beam ain't reflecting or whatever? And you think it's 10 light years, but after all that, it's really not.
Let me blow you away even more. Let me blow you away even more. If there's more planets in the galaxy, the universe, then there are grains of sand on the planet, and there are light years between each planet. Like it takes so many years to get to Mars.
Yeah.
So many hours, days, get to weeks to get to the moon, which is closer than Mars, supposedly. Just think about how large the universe is to hold that many planets, space that far away from each other.
It makes you wonder, are we really that many light years away from Mars? Is it really that far away?
It makes you wish you were Jean-Luc Picard on Star Trek and just can go where no one's gone before. I mean, I'm not that much of a techie nerd, but I mean, those shows are the only thing we have to really try to understand what's really on. I think majority of the people on this planet, of course, would have to watch Star Wars, Star Trek, those types of things, but I know when I think of the universe and finding new civilizations, I think of Star Wars or Star Trek.
Star Trek.
You know, because realistically that would happen. But you can't. I don't know. There are structures on this planet that seem massive. That just really overwhelm you.
Before we end this, I'll throw one more little stinker in there. Did you see where they say that they've now seen what's inside the black hole?
Inside the black hole? Is it Jimmy, what's his name? I can't think of his name now. Elvis? Was he waving from it? I mean,
no. But they're saying they've seen and they know what's into the black. When you go in there, they know what's in there.
They know what's in there.
That's what they're saying.
If they know what's in there, then there's no ambition to go in there, right? They can already see. It's like looking through a window. Oh, look, I see the dawn.
What they kind of like, I guess that's what they originally said, like Stephen Hawking and whatnot. That stuff gets pulled in there and it just gets to like nothing.
What stuff? It's a void. There's nothing out there but planets and debris
in there. What could you imagine if you just
sounds boring? A black hole sounds boring.
Black hole, but I don't get it.
Black hole sounds similar to my closet. Just a bunch of stuff gets sucked in, and you don't want to look at it anymore. It's boring.
I don't get black holes.
I was gonna say something, but I'll leave it alone.
Of course.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
No,
hey, it's conversation.
No end of the day.
Nope.
No.
Nope. No, not really. No, I can't think of it right now.
You know,
I can smell dinner, and I'm like an animal. Try to concentrate on the ball, right? And then you smell food. It's like, so no dad jokes. Can't think of any.
How was your Sunday?
How was my what?
Your Sunday.
My Sunday? It was all right. What's the reason for this?
My Sunday was kind of sad.
Was that?
But the day before was a Saturday.
Oh my god!
I
Okay.
did it. A dad joke.
You did it. You did it. You did it. That's definitely a dad joke. Yes, it is.
Well, with that crazy ass episode,
Yeah. I hope y'all could follow because we didn't know the damn thing we were talking about. Mostly. We're gonna have a lot of episodes between me and you that'd be like talking about nothing. Ought to get a lot of views.
people are gonna like it.
Dude, real
They're either
quick
gonna
though.
go, man, I didn't
I
think of
thought
that.
I
Or they're
thought
gonna
TikTok
go,
was crazy.
idiots.
I thought TikTok was crazy like post a year into COVID, right? Like what was it, 2021 somewhere? And I thought it was getting really crazy. My algorithms are all over the place right now.
Really?
Yeah, I'm getting all kinds of different stuff.
Because you like all kinds of stuff.
No, I don't really. I'm getting stuff that I don't want. Like certain people. You know what I mean?
But are they doing anything tied to anything else you've watched?
Possibly. I mean, I don't know how that works, but I'm not going to say no
I'm not gonna say no. Are you
because I
following
don't know
these
how it works.
people, or they're just popping
No,
up?
no. I follow a few people that fall in this category. I'm not going to get into what the category is, but because people are too thin skinned. Um, I'll just say it, liberals in general. And I follow a few because I like I like the way that they debate. I like the way that they do it. Even though we have different opinions, they do it in an honest and fair way. They don't just they're not really what a lot of people consider liberal, because a liberal is like somebody you really just can't talk to. They just don't understand. Even some conservatives that way, and I call conservatives that are that way liberal. You're kind of got a liberal mindset. You're not open minded to possibilities and working together. But then there's, I guess, because of that, there's algorithmic
That's probably what
things
it
that are
is.
causing it, and some of these people are just unbelievably unrealistic.
Yeah.
And it just like there was a I don't know. I don't really want to even get into it, but it just if I could sit there and say, if I could prove certain things about something, like give you proof, here it is. My desk is brown. The sky is blue. At least it looks blue. It may not actually be blue. It's just what we see is blue because of the air crystals and the clouds and, whatever, water on the ground, whatever. However. But if you can actually agree with me that this is the thing, people like that will argue, no, it's not. Just to be different, just to be, in their mind, correct. It's crazy. It's crazy. Fill in the blank on whatever topic you want to based on that statement. Okay, that's been going on for a decade. And it's really got out of control nowadays. Beans, bullets, and band-aids.
Beans, bullets, and band-aids.
So that's my advice.
That's great advice.
That's my TikTok advice for the show. How about that? I mean, hey, I use TikTok as a news outlet. I'm sorry. I use it as a pinch off a piece of information from somebody, right? Take that information, go do my own research, and decide for myself. Like I love the ones.
Some people don't. They just go, okay, good enough for me.
I love the ones that will stitch and counter that opinion, because then I can go and look at the whole video, then look at the new video, the stitch video, and decide for myself right there who I believe more. And if there's something in there that I don't understand, I'll go look it up.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll decide who I side with. It's not about siding with the person. It's about siding with the opinion. Right. And I say that because if it's facts, it's facts. When you see a document that is a document that you can pretty much figure out and find somewhere else, several sources, you can kind of believe that it's true. It's the way the opinion is conveyed over that document or over that proof or that whatever it is they're showing.
Well, the problem with TikToks and things like that with some of the stuff is people are saying something when they don't even have any information. Like the TikTok, the recent one where the guy started to talk about how the flat tax is going to help the rich people, and that guy jumped on and said, "No,
Yeah.
what the heck are you talking about? You're just making up shit."
Well,
now."
it depends on that. Again, that's perspective. Okay, and as a disclaimer, this thing will never get passed. Okay, I don't even know why people. It's cool to look into and maybe even dream or dispel the bill, but it's not going to get passed. It's not going to happen. Okay, we're going to be stuck with income tax. Okay, I'll tell y'all, wherever my camera is, y'all, like I've told a few other people on this staff, the only way that you're going to save on taxes is to not pay federal income tax and do it the right way. There is a way. It's illegal. The system is voluntary. I'm telling you right now. Do I still pay it? Yes, because I'm lazy and I know there's a way to do it and I haven't done it yet. Okay, but that's the only way. Am I going to pay taxes this year? I already did. Am I going to file my taxes? Yes. Okay, because I'm still obligated to do that. But that's the only way, because then you take out the other options that politicians have, lobbyists have, corporations have, other countries have to hold us to those payments.
That's right.
All right. And there's not going to be any tax code, any tax collection that is any better than not paying them at all. Am I a terrorist for that? No, I believe in paying taxes. I would be totally fine with paying a certain amount that makes sense. And 23 or 30%, whatever you believe it's in there, read the bill for yourself, figure it out. It's too high. That's too high, especially knowing, and you cannot deny this, knowing that our federal income tax 100% goes overseas. It goes to somebody else. No thanks. I'll keep that.
Paying these outrageous amounts of wages that these government officials get for years upon years.
Right.
You become president, you get paid that for 4 years, and then the rest of your life, and you're not even doing anything.
And you get a couple of, secret agents, or what do they call them? It doesn't matter which side of the political spectrum you're on. And I've heard this said, so I'm kind of quoting it. It's not really my original thought, but I agree with it. It doesn't matter what side you're on. It doesn't matter what you believe as far as policies. Our money, our hard-earned wages, like I said before, are not going to what they're supposed to be going to.
That's right.
The what is it? 53% total of all the taxes an individual pays, from sales tax to property tax to death tax to, I mean, there's more taxes than there are options to live free right now. And if that money is going somewhere else, it's not going the way it should be, every person should be pissed off about that, no matter what you believe.
I mean, look they jumped to start taxing Cash App and Venmo and shit.
Yep. The only people that won't be pissed off about that are the ones that have no problem with them taking our money and redistributing it, as long as they don't have to do it.
Right.
Right. That's the only people that are not going to have a problem with that. That's the only people that are not going to understand that. Anyway.
Crazy.
Like, subscribe, share, comment. Leave some ugly comments. I don't care.
Horrible. Tell us
Tell Nick Nick needs to shave his beard. No. Let's do a poll on that. He could start with the mustache and just leave this down here like he's Jebediah Nicholas.
I'll do that because the mustache grows back fast.
I want to see that. Just right here. You gotta do that before Thursday, before tomorrow night, please. Brandon will be back tomorrow night.
The mustache grows back quick. That I can get rid of.
I dare you to do that. Just say, "Hey Nick," I say, "Brandon, I've started the process, buddy."
And then just let it grow back. Say, nah.
And just let it grow back. I couldn't do it. I might
do that.
I mean, he would. How long would it take for that? How long would it take for that mustache to grow back?
Not long, dude. Within a day or two, it don't take long. The mustache is pretty quick.
He won't see this until Friday, so do it. Happy Friday, everybody, by the way.
Have a good day. Go buy something. We got some cool stuff. Stop being jerks. With that, peace.